Barron Trump's richer than his mom, Tarek El Moussa's streaming mad, and Keith Urban's linked to yet another female country star. These stories and more in this week's Nicki Swift wrap-up.
He's come into his own in like a beautiful way, but it pisses me off.
Eric Trump's got beef with his half-brother Barron. Eric was asked about the towering 19-year-old on the PBD podcast, and talk turned to Barron's recent power move, clearing out a whole floor of Trump Tower in New York City to entertain a mystery date.
Shutting down a floor of Trump Tower is like PG-13 versus where my mind would have been at his age in terms of the dating scene.
Page 6 reported last week that Barron went big when he went home for the date, with one source claiming that reserving all that ritzy real estate was just a security precaution. Maybe so, but it probably made for a night to remember for whoever Barron's courting between classes at NYU.
The base floor of the buildings are approximately 15,000 square feet, have floor-to-ceiling glass windows with dramatic 15-foot ceiling heights.
Plenty of room for Barron to show his date a good time. So what does Eric know about all this?
God, I can't tell. I'm going to get myself in so much trouble.
Eric was tight-lipped about the details of Barron's big date. And while he had plenty of love for his younger brother while on the pod, he got a little testy when he was reminded of one tall tale.
He was 15 years old. I go back to back with the kid, and he's literally got me by like a quarter of an inch. And I'm sitting there saying, this sucks. Like, I used to be the tall guy in the family.
At 6'5", Eric used to stand out, but Barron's got him beat now. Reports put him between 6'7" and 6'9", depending on the source. Being the tallest member of the Trump family has earned Barron plenty of attention, but it has its downsides. Eric revealed that Barron's staggering height has squashed his dreams of going pro on the pitch.
He loves soccer until he realized that there's never been a 6'9" soccer player ever.
And the more obvious option, Barron the baller, seems off the table too.
He might have loved basketball until he realized he still couldn't jump, right? So it's like, I don't know. I think he'll use his brains.
Barron is currently splitting his time between New York City and Washington, D.C., taking classes at NYU's D.C. campus while living at the White House. One source told Page 6 that last year, Barron had a lot of girls running after him on campus in NYC, and the first kid doesn't hand out his phone number. Instead, he chats via Xbox or Discord.
It's very nice to see you.
Being surpassed as the tallest, Trump might have bruised Eric's ego, but he's clearly got nothing but love for his big little brother.
I love the kid, and he's an amazing guy. He's above his years, and he's a great friend.
So, did Eric have any words of wisdom for Barron ahead of that headline-making date night in Manhattan?
Oh God, you don't want to know the dating advice that I gave Barron.
Barron's making bank. The first kid ranks higher on a recent Forbes list of rich Trump family members than you might think. In September 2025, the magazine dove Scrooge McDuck style into the family's vast fortune, and as it turns out, thanks to some savvy crypto investments, 19-year-old Barron has already out-earned Trump's twice his age. The college sophomore is worth an estimated $150 million per Forbes, and is the family's unofficial crypto king. He reportedly convinced the elder Trumps to go all in on crypto, inspiring the launch of the startup World Liberty Financial in the fall of 2024. $150 million is a nice chunk of change, placing Barron above some surprising names. He's worth more than his mother, Melania, who comes in at around $20 million thanks to her memoir, paid speeches, a documentary deal, and her very own crypto venture, a Melania meme coin, which she recently promoted using an AI clone stepping out of a portal into the Trump Tower penthouse.
The robots are here.
Barron's also worth more than his sister Ivanka, who comes in at around $100 million. Her husband, Jared Kushner, however, is a bona fide billionaire, thanks to real estate deals and his private equity firm. But if we're just talking about Barron versus Ivanka, the little bro comes out on top by $50 million. Conspicuously absent from the list, and most certainly trumped by Barron, is his other sister, Tiffany. A Georgetown law grad, she keeps her career out of the public eye, but it's safe to say she's worth nowhere near Barron's $150 million. Like Ivanka, Tiffany has a husband, Michael Boulos, who also comes from a wealthy family, but not wealthy enough for Forbes to include the pair among its Trump power players. As for who's beating Barron at the bank, Donald Sr. sits at the very top of the list with a staggering $7.3 billion. a $3 billion increase from last year. Crypto accounts for $2 billion, while the rest comes from licensing deals and a recent $500 million windfall after a New York appeals court tossed out his civil fraud penalty. Older brothers Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, meanwhile, have lined their pockets this past year, largely thanks to crypto, putting them heads and shoulders above the towering Trump teen, at least financially. Don Jr. is worth an estimated $500 million as co-founder of World Liberty Financial and American Bitcoin, a crypto mining venture. Forbes also describes him as a big player in the anti-woke economy, with his finger in a number of profitable and openly political pies. Eric Trump isn't as loud online as Don Jr., but considering he's got him beat by $250 million, he may be onto something. Eric's worth a jaw-dropping $750 million, putting him well below his father, of course, but still in the number 2 spot. Barron may be the Trump family's crypto guru, but none of them have made as much in that sector as Eric, who was even briefly a billionaire after launching American Bitcoin in March.
Crypto is leading the way.
Licensing deals, including the use of the Trump family name on properties in the Middle East, account for much of the rest of his fortune. Barron has some catching up to do for sure, but he might get there sooner than you think. According to Forbes, Barron has 2.3 billion locked up crypto tokens, meaning they can't be traded yet, so the magazine heavily discounts their value when evaluating his net worth. But if their current price holds steady, Forbes estimates they could boost Barron's bank account by a cool $525 million when they're unlocked.
So much fun, you guys. I absolutely loved filming that show. Is anyone watching right now watch that show, The Flip Off?
That's HGTV star Tarek El Moussa in a recent middle-of-the-night live stream that left fans concerned and haters in stitches.
Yeah. I ski, I snowboard, I do all the things.
Tarek hopped on TikTok at 3 a.m., startling followers with behavior many found sketchy. The TV personality seemed hyper as he chugged water, with several commenters later calling him out for how wide-eyed he looked, especially for that hour. One Redditor later quipped, "The biggest pupils I've ever seen on a conscious person." One follower watching the live stream went straight for the jugular, asking Tarek, "Why did your wife cheat?"
You ask dumb questions, you get blocked.
Others were worried about Tarek, with one commenter posting, "Super bizarre. I hope he's okay." Another felt that Tarek seemed unwell during the stream, writing, "I hope Heather and the baby are safe. I also hope the other kids are with Christina. He's not well, and I believe things are way worse than they appear." Celebrities live streaming and getting mixed responses is nothing new, and there are plenty of reasonable explanations for Tarek's demeanor. Maybe he had too much caffeine too late in the day.
Yeah. I ski, I snowboard, I do all the things.
It could have all just blown over, but in a classic case of the Streisand effect, trying to hide something only makes more people notice, Tarek's team released a statement. A spokesperson told The Sun, "Tarek couldn't sleep and got on TikTok live overnight, turning his insomnia into creativity. He has been trying to source leads for an unlisted property for the next season of The Flip Off. Funny enough, this impromptu live turned out to be his highest engaging one yet, a surprisingly productive result of a sleepless night." So, according to Tarek's spin doctor, the star was simply in the lab, turning insomnia into creativity, as one does. But many fans think Tarek might be dealing with financial difficulties. One posted, "He has been on TikTok live non-stop lately. This just seems wild. Are they desperate for money?" On the surface, Tarek's doing just fine. The Flip Off, featuring Tarek and current wife Heather Ray teaming up against his ex, Christina Hawk, is HGTV's highest-rated new series since 2022, and was recently renewed for a second season. Tarek has yet to comment himself on the bizarre live stream, but by the sound of things, it won't be long before he's back in front of the camera to tell his side of the story.
A former NFL star is now facing felony charges after a roller coaster weekend in Indianapolis, during which he went from victim to apparent aggressor in a bloody alleyway brawl.
We're lucky that no one's dead right now.
Mark Sanchez, former quarterback for the USC Trojans and the New York Jets, was in town to help cover Sunday's Colts-Raiders game at Lucas Oil Stadium for Fox Sports. According to court documents, police were called to a downtown bar and grill around 12:35 a.m. Sunday and found the 38-year-old outside with several stab wounds. Another man, 69, was found nearby with deep cuts to his cheek and jaw. Before details from the scene, including surveillance footage, painted a clearer picture, initial coverage was largely sympathetic to Sanchez. The New York Post called it just a drunken brawl and ran with the jokey headline, "Unnecessary Roughness." Indiana Governor Mike Braun, in a since-deleted tweet, went political, citing a lack of public safety safety downtown and saying he was praying for Sanchez. But the full story is allegedly much darker and wilder than those early reports suggested. We now know that the 69-year-old man, still unidentified as of this video, was in a nearby alley in a box truck, collecting used cooking oil. According to Fox 59, footage shows Sanchez jogging up to the man, opening his door, and climbing inside. The man said Sanchez smelled of alcohol and told him in slurred words that a nearby hotel manager said he wasn't supposed to be parked there. When the driver tried to call his supervisor, Sanchez stopped him, and that's when he said things got ugly. Video shows the two fighting near a large dumpster after Sanchez allegedly threw the man against a wall. The driver told police that, fearing for his life, he used pepper spray on Sanchez, but when that didn't work, he pulled out a knife and stabbed him in the torso in self-defense. In the melee, the man also sustained a few wounds of his own before a look of shock came over Sanchez's face and he fled the scene. Court documents indicate that surveillance footage closely matches the driver's account. Sanchez, now stable, was in critical condition when detectives later interviewed him at the hospital. He claimed to have no memory of the incident, only that he was at some point grabbing for a window of the bar. The bartender who called 911 says Sanchez was confused.
Couldn't really understand what he was saying. I didn't recognize him.
Sanchez even allegedly thought at the time that it was a bullet, not a knife, that did the damage.
Person that had blood on him, he said that he had been shot.
Meanwhile, the truck driver's family told Fox 59 that he was slashed in the jaw and cheek, with one cut so deep it hit his tongue. And images from the hospital, too graphic to show here, released by the family, confirm the extent of his injuries. Sanchez was charged on Sunday with misdemeanors, including public intoxication and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle. But on Monday, Marion County prosecutor Ryan Mears upgraded the charges to a level 5 felony battery of causing serious injury. Sanchez is technically out of jail on bond, but remains hospitalized as of this video. He could face additional charges and is scheduled to appear in court on November 4th.
It looks like Keith Urban's PR team has been working overtime in the wake of his separation from Hollywood A-lister Nicole Kidman. The 57-year-old Aussie's already been linked to a bandmate half his age, and now there's a rumor he's been cozying up to another major country star. That's according to Australian magazine Woman's Day and Insider Dishes. It's true, he and Maggie Baugh have been working closely together, but he's also still very close to Kelsey Ballerini, who's also newly single. Maggie Baugh made headlines last week when the 25-year-old shared a clip of Keith changing the lyrics to his hit The Fighter to reference her, not Nicole Kidman, the song's original muse. She's since been pinned to the specimen board as Other Woman #1. But there's no evidence that the guitar and fiddle player, currently on tour with Keith, is anything more than a bandmate. Similarly, Woman's Day makes it clear that Keith's relationship with Kelsey is strictly platonic and professional, for now, just a supportive friendship. But boring old friendships don't make headlines. We suspect the insider is linking Keith and Kelsey for a reason, even if it's just to distract from negative Keith and Nicole stories making the rounds and to keep afloat the narrative that Keith is a stand-up guy who's worth all the fuss, not just the man who reportedly left one of the world's most celebrated actresses devastated and blindsided. Timing is a major factor here too, since Kelsey is fresh off a breakup with Outer Banks star Chase Stokes.
That's kind of how I'm operating my life right now, is just now or never, and with everything.
Pairing her with Keith, even as gossip fodder fantasy, is too tempting to pass up. It's such a tidy story to tell in the tabloids. After all, the 32-year-old has also been through a high-profile split, and from an Australian country star to boot. The Tennessee native filed for divorce from Morgan Evans in 2022. And Kelsey is indeed part of Keith's inner circle, thanks to that Aussie connection, so the matchup makes sense. Kelsey and Morgan opened for Keith in 2018 as part of his Graffiti U tour. So if there is another woman in Keith's life, is it Maggie, Kelsey, or none of the above? As of this video, it's unclear, and clues from industry insiders remain vague. The Daily Mail quoted a well-placed Nashville music business PR source who revealed, "The rumor is that he's with a younger woman in the business. It's all everyone is talking about. Everyone wants to know who, but so far, that's a mystery."